All right, everybody. Welcome to the Contextual Christian Church Bible Study, where today we're going to read Isaiah chapter 2, verse 17 to chapter 3, verse 9. I'm going to pray it in. Everybody, bow your heads. Father, thank you for getting us on this Bible study today to get into more of Isaiah. We're probably going to get into more talking about if it's prophecies or if it's Judgment Day. I pray that it's something new that we can get into. If not, it'd still be good to practice on getting the context and re-explaining it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So, last time what we got into in chapter 2, we continued down the line with prophecies of the end time, with a couple examples of being that everybody's going to be humble. Anybody who has lived, they're lofting up, they're prideful, or they've been prideful from somebody else lifting them up, they're going to be humbled at the time because when the day of the Lord happens, it's going to happen over everybody. No one can stop it. That judgment day. And we got also into how at towards the end of the end times that there was going to be a time. Where was it? No, that's the pride. Uh, about being the son of a Mos. Many people shall go and say, "Come." Oh, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of people trying to seek God in different places, all the high places. So you got people trying to seek God that are not even of His people. You got the people that are of His people that are going to be humbled down, and even other people who got prideful and arrogant, and even if they had a whole bunch of gold and jewelry and stuff, what it boils down to is they themselves are going to be humbled in the fact of the day of the Lord because there's nothing you can do to stop it. And it compared about all these different places. And that's the last part that we read. So I'll go ahead and switch it to our first section so our first reader can read. And go ahead, Charles, when you're ready.
All right. I'll be reading Isaiah chapter 2, verses 17 to 21. Give it a couple seconds. Verse 17. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low. And the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And the idols he shall utterly abolish, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for the fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats, to go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks, for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. So I start off with verse 17. Let me double check loftiness because this sounds like that pride thing we got into yesterday, how he's humbling the prideful, the ones that are elevated themselves or that were elevated through other people. Yeah, so verse 17, it looks like it ended. The Lord exalted himself, God exalted himself over those that were prideful, over those that were exalted. Verse 18, he's destroying idols. Let's crack them things up. Let's get rid of those. Now, verse 19 is where it gets hilarious. It now it's talking about that they're gonna from 19 down, we're talking about men going into under rocks and caves, trying to dig into the earth because they fear God. They fear God's glory. They basically fear judgment day. So they're going into hiding. You fear the day of the Lord. You fear judgment day. And you think hiding in the rocks is going to help you. You think giving silver to moles and bats, you think that's going to help you. You think worshiping idols you made with your hands, the ones you made yourself, in caves. You think that's gonna save you from God when He shakes the earth at Judgment Day? All the earthquakes, all of this terrible pandemonium going around. You think that's gonna save you? I was about to make a caveman joke, but then I thought about it. When men go in, who right now, when I read these verses, it clicked in me. Who spent $500 million building bunkers to hide from quote unquote something that's supposed to happen in the future? I mean, Matt, what if I'm just throwing something out there. What if they assumed or someone told them that a god or God is going to come and start destroying all these things, right? Oh, well, you know what? Let me build a bunker so I can have this bunker underground and I can avoid God's wrath. You can avoid God's
Exactly.
wrath by being a part of the Contextual Christian Church Bible study Monday to Saturday starting at 5:20 to learn. But instead you spent $500 million on a bunker.
And the Bible study is free.
All Bible studies, well, not all, but I'm just saying you could have did more research on, because it now I think to myself, reading this makes me think to myself, is this the thing that everybody's talking about, quote unquote, when they say, oh, the rich are building bunkers because of something to happen in the future? Is this what they're thinking about? That really got me thinking now. What if
No, it's
this
not
is
that.
it?
It's not from this, bro. They're building bunkers because of the lies they tell and stuff about possible nuclear war and about the
Yeah.
climate crisis, and it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But the fact that we're reading verses about people going into caves and under rocks, digging in earth, trying to run away from God.
Yeah.
Before the caveman joke, I thought to myself, bunkers. You think
Yep.
them bunkers are gonna save you? They're not.
Well,
Good
and think
luck.
about it this way: all everybody who preps for a zombie apocalypse.
I used to think that was a good idea, and then the more you do, the more you look into it, and the more you take you get away from the what do you what's the word? You get away from the fantasy of it. When you get into the real life, you
Yeah.
realize this is stupid. This is stupid. This is so dumb.
Yeah. Like if you want to meal prep some like meals that can last for 50 years, you want to have stuff like that ready as a just in case measure just to be wise about it. Okay, that's one thing. But if you're prepping for the world to end, let's be real. If the world did come to an end like that, you're not going to make it anyways. But let's give you the argument for argument's sake you do make it. You really want to survive in a world where there's almost nobody there? Really? No
You,
TV, no AC, cause ain't nobody there to work the electrical grid. Nothing.
what happens when
Come
you run
on,
out of
bro.
clean water? Now what?
Yeah, clean water. You're
You're
basically
screwed.
homeless
You ran
with
out of
no
clean water.
ability to hunt and gather. And mind
There
you,
you go.
that's not included. Like let's say the zombie apocalypse, for example, because there is like the whole zombie deer and that whole genetic mutation and disease, rabies. It's a mutation of rabies. But here's the thing. Let's say, for argument's sake, it did happen. You think that's not going to impact the crops? You think that's not going to impact the meats? You think
Right.
everything on Earth is just going to be like as it was before the apocalypse? Like, you're dumb. Like, I'm sorry. If there's a nuclear war, I don't want to be in a bunker for two reasons. For one, if I am going to survive, I'm going to survive regardless, and I'm going to build with whatever's on top. Secondly, if I'm not gonna survive, I I'm fine. I didn't survive. But what I would hate to do is go into a bunker. Not to mention, if you've been in the bunker long enough, sometimes there are technical malfunctions. What if you get stuck in your bunker? Like you can't get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, because I can't work on an AC unit. If my AC doesn't work, I'm screwed. Any electrical. What can I do?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's
Like,
nothing
could
I
you
can do.
imagine if there was some nuclear war? They build these bunkers, cool, but the dirt around your door is still gonna be there.
Yeah, if
That
the
part
dirt
would
covers
cave
up the
in.
door, yeah, you're screwed.
So unless you have some hole that leads to the surface to guarantee that you'll have the top not cover and the door not be closed off, you're risking being trapped in it anyways. So there's just a lot of extra in it that you have zero control over in a society that would not be worth living in, even if it did happen. And that's if it happened. But anyways, back to this main point here. Back to what you were saying, Charles. Yeah. Yeah, they literally, it talks about it gave them to the moles and the bats. But this is interesting, the animals that they picked. Both of those animals have something in common. What do they have in common, Charles?
Other than being able to see in the dark, living in
Yeah.
caves and living in caves.
The ability to see where they're going in the dark with no visibility otherwise. To have directions in the middle of the dark. I think it's ironic or interesting that what they selected for their example is a creature that can see in the dark. And we're talking about idols. Idols have no power in the light. They can only see in the dark. So I just think that's an interesting side note on that. But with all that being said, does anybody have any comments or questions about the first section as we go to the second section? Now would be the time to raise your hands. All right, then, Thomas, are you able to read?
I was trying to raise my hand. I couldn't get to it in time.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
But I was just gonna say, I don't know if it's okay with y'all, but I gotta put the phone to my ear to even hear anything, and I don't want to have to do that. Like nowhere I go in the mall is quiet. So unfortunately,
Here's a what?
nowhere I go in the mall is quiet. I have to put the phone to my ear to even hear anything.
Oh, okay. Well,
If
just a
that's
heads
okay
up,
with
we're
y'all.
talking about zombie apocalypse.
I heard everything. I just can't like look at the screen and try to hear
I
y'all
know,
at
I'm
the
just
same
messing with
time.
you. I'm just messing with you. All right, Charles, go ahead and continue.
I
Thank
got you. I'll be reading Isaiah chapter 2, verse 22 to chapter 3, verse 4. Give it a couple seconds. Verse 22. Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? Let me try that again. Give me a second. 22. Cease ye from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? For behold, the Lord of hosts, does take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man, and the counselor and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. All right, so we end chapter 2. Let me double check the chapter 2, verse 22. I I'm taking it as sarcasm in the end, Matt. I'm trying to figure out it's just a sarcastic statement, but I need to be able to re-explain the why of this.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Go back to the other parts. Who is the ye? Because we know ye means you. Who is the
Ye
ye
means
in
you, so
22?
ye would be because this message is for Judah and for the children of Israel, Judah and Jerusalem specifically. So they would be the ye.
Exactly. So take that into aspect, Jerusalem and Judah. Cease Jerusalem and Judah from man. whose breath is in his nostrils. For wherein is he to be accounted of?
Cease, as in when we say cease, we thinking of stop, stay away, don't go.
Yep.
Don't go. He's telling the
No, you added something that's not part of it.
don't go part.
Yeah. I mean, you have to add a direction in order to say that, right? Can you cease from
Yeah,
cooking?
yeah, you can see from cooking.
Did you move anywhere? Did you go into a direction?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I get it now. So yeah, yeah. So you can stop from doing something, but not have to do any like going in any direction.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it. Okay, to stop. So so to stop from doing something. So stop Judah and Jerusalem. Stop from man
Mhm.
whose breath is in his. Because the part that's throwing me off is whose breath is in his nostrils.
Well,
That's what's
don't read it
throwing me off.
separately. Look at everything together.
Well, we talked about. Well, I got into the whole cave thing. How
No.
God
I'm
and the
talking about just that verse. Now that you
oh,
know
just this
who
verse.
the is, look at all the parts of the verse as one.
For wherein is he to be accounted of?
Mm-hmm.
For which would be the because of, or because of what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein is he to be accounted of?
Yep. Do you get what it's saying?
I'm still stuck on it.
All right. What does it mean to be accounted of?
To be accounted of. Accounted of. Wouldn't that be? That's my son and daughter. I'm accounted for them. For the God, that's the children of Israel.
Yeah.
The loyal ones, I'm accounted for the loyal ones. In
Yeah.
other words, I'm
Responsible.
responsible.
Well, no,
Responsible.
not accounted of, accountable, accounted to. Accounted is just accountability. So think about that there. Cease from man, Jerusalem and Judah, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accountable of? You got it now?
So we're talking about for them to cease from people. It brought up people that breathe through their nostrils, but these people don't. There's no God is not accounting for these people that we're talking about in 22.
What?
Then, in
No.
essence, then
Is he capitalized?
he's not capitalized.
So then it's not talking about God. Thomas, let me give you the chance.
That's the question.
Yeah, what's 22 saying? And remember, the ye is Jerusalem and Judah. Cease, you could just say stop.
Yeah. Let me just read it real quick.
Yep.
Cease ye Jerusalem. Cease Jerusalem and Judah from man whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein he to be accounted of. One second. I got an answer. Just let me get it together.
Not a problem.
So is it referring to the people in those areas that they're like trying to have them stop or like to stay away from in a sense?
Depends on how you explain it.
I gotta put it better into better words. I'm gonna need more time.
All right. Stop from man whose breath is in his nostrils. Why point out breath is in his nostrils? What does that show? Charles?
That's what. Oh yeah, I'm unmuted. That's what I'm stuck on. Like what?
Okay, I'm asking, well, just think about that part. What does it mean for somebody's breath to be in their nostrils? What would that mean? It's very straightforward.
Oh, I don't see the straightforwardness because we all breathe through our nostrils. So breathe in our nose, breathe
Do
out our mouth.
animals
So
breathe through their nostrils?
don't they? Some of them.
Yes. Yes. All creatures breathe through nostrils. They breathe. The breath is not outside of them. So, in other words, the breath is not outside of the body. Whose breath is not outside? Is not. Whose breath is outside of a body? Charles, who does that sound like?
Why am I totally stuck on this?
Who is alive without breath in their nostrils?
Who's alive without
Who's alive without breathing, Charles?
angels, deities? God.
Yeah, God. Yes. So man has to breathe. God doesn't. So why would it point that out? It's showing that he's lesser. He's only human. Then it says, for where he accounted of. Who would he be able to be accounting for? Just like you brought up the children.
The connection's going in and out.
What is the man going to do to the child?
Start over because the connection's
Yeah,
going
you
in and
breaking
All
out.
right,
up,
let me
bro.
just give you the answer because let me just give you all the answer because yeah. It means to stop following man because he's just human. He's not anybody that you should be needing to be worrying about accountability towards. He's not God. Stop following man. He's just a living creature. He's a creation, not the creator. Does that make sense, Charles and Thomas?
Now that you brought
Yeah.
that up, that was a real confusing way to say it, though. At least for me, it was.
Well, because it's pointing out details of it, right? So cease from man, stop from man. Well, if you're stopping from man, it means you're no longer dealing with man, right?
Right.
Well, if you're no longer dealing with man, who would you be dealing with?
You're dealing with God if you're not dealing with man.
Exactly. The reason the who the ye is mattered is because of that. Jerusalem and Judah. Are there men in Jerusalem and Judah?
Yes.
Aren't they kind of made up of people?
Yes.
Can you have Jerusalem and Judah and it not be related to the people that live there?
Can it? No. Normally, when we're talking about them, we're talking about those that are there.
Exactly. So then what would it mean to stop from man? It cannot mean, it's an impossibility for it to mean to no longer have men there. Because that's what makes up a country is the people, not the location.
But to stop following them and to follow God, which is what we've been getting into
Exactly.
with both Judah and Jerusalem.
Exactly. That's the point. That's what he's getting at. Stop following man and man's teachings and follow God. What makes you think man is worthy to follow? He's just a created being. The breath in his nostrils, he's a mouth breather. He's not anyone to be accountable to. Does that make sense, Charles and Thomas?
Yes. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Then go ahead, Charles, and continue with your explanation.
All right. So with Isaiah chapter 3, verses 1 to 4. And as a matter of fact, let me reread For behold, the Lord of hosts, does take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. Let me double check that.
Mhm.
Stay, Strong's definition from H8172, a support, concretely. That is figuratively a protector or sustenance. For behold, the Lord of hosts, does take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the whole bread and the whole waters. That sounds like I'm starving, y'all. I'm taking away all your bread and your water.
Well, not just
Whether it is,
starving, also the staff. What does the
let me go
staff
to
do?
the staff would be support. So I'm
No,
taking away
not
your.
support.
It wouldn't be.
No, support's not the right word. Do you remember what a staff is? What the staff look like?
Wasn't it something you could use as like a walking stick? You
Not
could use
just
it for
that.
punishment.
No, not punishment. Rod was for punishment.
Oh, the rod was for punishment.
The staff has the hook at the end. What's the hook for?
Oh, with the sheeps, guiding the sheeps. When the sheep get off, you're
So
talking
they
about when
don't
we had that discussion. So they don't go out of
Yes,
the direction that they're supposed to go in the right direction. You guide them in the right direction, basically. that's
exactly.
the that's the
So
staff you're talking about.
so what it's pointing out is not just taking away their necessities, taking away their sustenance. It's also taking away their guidance or protection.
Ah, no wonder it got into the end because I thought it was funny that it brought up that it. Okay, so it's taking away the sustenance, it's taking away their guidance, and it brought up the, like from two down to 2 and 3 brings up all of these different people: mighty men of war, judge, prophet, captain of 50,
Well, not guidance,
honorable.
but I said guidance and protection. It's not
Well,
guidance alone.
guidance and protection.
Yes.
Got it. So when you have 2 and 3, when it brings up all these people, God is saying in verse 4, I'm gonna have children be your princes, and babes, which are babies, are gonna rule over you. Now, metaphorically, you're just gonna have, if they're gonna have no sustenance, if they're not gonna have the protection, if they're not gonna have the guidance, and you're not gonna have God, God's talking about putting children as princes, babes that will rule over them. That sounds like immature. That sounds like you're putting Saul, a person like Saul, in power. That sounds like you're putting unfaithful rulers in power, immature, not experienced, don't really care too
That's
much.
definitely one possibility.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Let me say that. That's a possibility.
And I would say the most likely, honestly, that is the most likely interpretation. However,
Cause I. Okay. Go ahead.
However, it could be talking about the youth. Because remember, when Moses was leading them, when Abraham was leading, there was a bunch of people that were leading that they had some age on them. They weren't no kids. So it could be talking about youth. But here's where the problem comes in about thinking it's youth. They've already had children in position of power. Remember Ahaz? There was a
The one that
couple of
kicked his mom
people,
out.
yes. There was a couple of people that were in power that were not old. So if this is going to be a stay in your lane. So if this is going to be meaning that, then where's the prophecy? That's already currently occurring. So the most likely is that it's not talking about literally, it's talking about mentally, immaturely.
That's what I was thinking, like immature wise and all of that. Because
Yeah.
there was another thought I had. It's a smaller possibility now that I got the context of one. Before the context of one, I was thinking of the children and babes as innocents. But because of one, I have to now throw. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can use that now.
There's something else that needs to be pointed out, but I don't think you'll catch it. Thomas, do you know what's important over about 4? Separate from what Charles has already said?
1 second, let me read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give children to be their princes, and babies shall rule over them. No, I don't know what stands out.
All right. Then I'll give Charles a chance, and then I'll give the answer if not. Charles, do you know
What I've
why
missed in
what's important of, or why verse 4 is important? It's a specific detail that I don't think you would know, but I wanted to give you a chance. I'll give you a hint though. Actually, I got to give Thomas the chance first because I didn't give him the hint.
got it.
Thomas, you'll get the chance first. It has to do with society today.
Society today.
Mm-hmm.
Is it in regards to like how the generations work and stuff like that?
Nope. All right, Charles.
No, that'd be a immature politician is the only thing I can come up with as far as society today. I don't really have
Yeah, no.
anything else.
All right. The important detail of it is this is one of the prophecies that people love to take out of context to say that we are in the end times.
Just for
That
that
Jesus
verse
is
alone.
coming back soon. This is one of them. Yes.
Oh, okay.
When it talks about the babes and they talk about the immaturity of our leaders and what have you, the childishness. They love to go to that and then claim that this is another sign that we are in the end times today, which is not. It's not even close.
That's funny. Yeah. There's a lot they take out of context.
Yeah, there is a lot, especially with the
Yeah.
end times. Is Jesus coming back soon? Okay. I mean, it's been like that for the last 2,000 years. I don't know what you consider soon, but I don't consider that soon. Well, haven't you seen, like, we got all these immature politicians, and then it literally says that there'll be children for there to be their princes, and babes will rule over them. Oh my goodness. So, anyways, that's why that one's important. That's why that one stands out for that. All right. Now, does anybody have any comments, questions about the second section as we go to the final section for today? Now would be the time to raise your hands. All right, then go ahead, Charles, and finish us out.
All right. Last, I'll read Isaiah chapter 3, verses 5 to 9. Give it a couple seconds. Verse 5. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be, be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance does witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe, let me stop for a second. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. So I'm going to have to do this bit by bit. So, verse 5. Now it's getting into people are going to be oppressed. They're oppressing each other. Childs are they're gonna behave themselves proudly, but they're gonna be proud basically, and you're gonna be proud against the ancient. The ancient is another way of saying like your elders, your old people, acting a fool, trying to be proud against your elders and your old people. Then it said the base against the honorable. The base would be primitive root, to be light, as implied in rapid motion, but figuratively only because it's heavily hold in contempt, despise.
Yeah, think
Lightly.
basic level when you think base.
As in like basic.
Yeah.
As in like some basic people are going against the honorable people.
Yeah.
Oh man. Next with verse 6. When a so man's gonna grab his brother, the brother of his father's house, talking about, yo, okay, here's some clothes, you be the ruler. And I want all the responsibility to be on you. This ruin, all this stuff going on, you need to take care. You need to be responsible. You need to be the one. I'm putting it all on you. But the brother's gonna respond and be like, no, I'm not taking that responsibility. I'm not gonna be the ruler. No. I don't want the responsibility.
Exactly.
Oh man. Then that was 6 and 7. Verse 8. For Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. That's just saying what we've been getting into for like weeks now, for I would say months now, with Judah and Jerusalem doing all kinds of wickedness, not with just their actions, but with their words. All kinds of stuff going against God, provoking God to sheer wrath and just Hulk levels of anger. All kinds of stuff that Judah and Jerusalem have been doing. Now, verse 9. The show of their
There's only
count
one thing you forgot.
in let me go to 8. I brought up what they were doing, brought up how he pissed off God.
Thomas, you know what he forgot to bring up?
Not in 8, no.
How does 8 connect to 7, Charles? That's what you forgot to bring up.
Wouldn't 8 connect to everything we've been getting at about the whole children will be princes, babes will be rulers, and how just everything's going to be bad and everything's going to be ruined and everything's going to be.
It connects directly to 7. Directly.
Let me go
How
back
does
to
it
7.
connect?
That shall he swears. Oh yeah, let me reread.
To 7.
In that day, all right, shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. How does it connect? Well, if I'm thinking with Jerusalem and Judah, well, you got people that don't want to take the responsibility of being the ruler, being accountable to lead in Jerusalem and Judah. They don't want any of the problems.
No. Mm-mm. You're not taking the context accurately. Verse 8. 4. What does 4 mean?
Because
Exactly. So in that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen because their tongue and their doings. So the way it connects that you didn't bring up is this is a cause and effect relationship. Because of Judah and Jerusalem's tongue, they are ruined and they don't have the necessities they need. Because they don't have the necessities that they need, then in 7, they don't want to be a ruler because they don't even have all the necessities. Now, because they don't want to be a ruler, that's the part that would connect to the children being and babes being in charge. Does that make sense, Charles?
yes, I thought so what I was saying earlier, how it connected, you said it didn't connect with what I had brought up earlier with the children being princes,
Eight
babes
does not
being.
connect to that. That's too generic. 8 does not connect to that. 8 connects to 7. 7
Right.
is what connects to that.
Okay.
But it's not even directly connected. It could impact, but where does it say that the reason that there are babes in charge is because the people don't want to be in leadership? You're creating a connection that's not stated. Is it possible that that's the reason why? Yeah, that's possible. Is that the only possible reason why babes would be in charge?
No.
So you're adding context that's not there. The only guaranteed connection we have is 7 and 8, not 7 to earlier and 4.
Okay.
All right, you understand how that worked, too, Thomas?
Yeah, thank you for explaining.
Yeah, definitely. All right. And that's why in 9, go ahead, Charles. That's why 9 comes up.
The show of their countenance does witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom, they hide it not. Countenance, wasn't that the face? Like, let me double check
Yeah,
my
the
notes.
facial expression.
Okay.
Not the face, the facial expression.
The facial expression.
And it's not even literally your face. It's like I use the face as the example for the definition's sake of like you could see it on their face. But the countenance is just like the expression of the person.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. When you brought up that you can see it on your face, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I got to break this down piece by piece. So you can you can see it on your face example. So I'm going to use that. The what you can see on their face, that emotion, their expression, that they're saying is against them. There's a witness against them. So it's almost like we can see whatever, like we can see whatever expression you got on your face. We know it's going to lead to something bad. In other words, we know it's going to lead to some type of wickedness or sin. In other words. Like that's
No.
how just in the face it is.
No.
Oh, let me double check that.
You got man. You jump to a
Countenance
context
does
that ain't got
witness.
nothing to do with what it's saying.
The show of their countenance does witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom.
Yeah. Where did that say that they're going to sin? Where did it talk about it in future reference?
Oh, then my bad. Then let me take that part out then, because I'm going with the expression of the like your expression, because it says the show of their countenance does witness against them. So obviously, some type of expression of your face is a witness against you.
Yeah. But the only problem with what you said is that you added in there and the way you referenced it was future reference. Nowhere in there did it say that it is going to witness against them. Where did it put it as a future?
Oh, so word I added, then that's my bad.
And that's a big problem that you got to make sure on because it changed everything. The show of their countenance will be a witness against them is very different from the show of their countenance is a witness against them. What does it mean if the show of the countenance is a witness against them?
Is as in it's happening, like it's right now, in other words, rather than
Exactly.
it's a future tense thing.
So then what is he actually saying then?
That's what I got to put into words. I want to make sure I put the right words together. Because what I said earlier was just I was just rereading. Really, I didn't really do a good job re-explaining it.
That is very true.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to put the words together to re-explain this properly. And yes, I'm still thinking about it. Sorry for the silence.
All right, let me give Thomas a chance.
All right.
So when we speak of the show of the countenances against them, I'm thinking of like you see somebody's intoxicated, they're proclaiming they're not intoxicated. Like, bro, we can clearly see that you're intoxicated. I'm trying to take that and apply.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to take that and apply that same thing to here. When it says a show of their countenance does witness against them. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. I can see it all over your face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Charles? Good job, Thomas, by the way.
Yeah.
That makes better sense now. Yeah.
Now,
Thanks for the
connect
example.
that to the next part.
And they declare their sin as Sodom. So let me go back to that example that Thomas used. That helped a lot better. So you can see it clear as day that they're drunk, had too much to drink. Now the next part, and they declare their sin as Sodom. Could I just leave it at, well, not could I just, that would just be the guy, he would just be admitting that, yeah, I'm crap face. I almost said a cuss word. Yeah, I'm drunk. I'm drunk off my butt. Would that be a way of them declaring their
no,
sin in a sense?
Because that's just stating. That's not declaring. If you're declaring something, you're not just saying something. Right? Like a declaration. If you do a declaration that you're drunk, are you just telling people that you're drunk?
Would it also be like living that lifestyle too? Like that's just how you live. That's just how you
No,
move.
no,
That's
no,
just how
no.
you.
No. When you declare something, is it calm? Are you just stating facts?
Oh no, everybody needs to hear it then.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, kind of thing.
So what does that show the emotion of the person when they act like that?
Well, in the drunk case, he doesn't care. He can care less.
Now that's not true. If you're declaring that you're drunk,
You have care to that?
of course.
Give me an example.
I'm freaking wasted, bro. That's a declaration of being drunk. I'm drunk, bro. That's saying that you're drunk. There's a massive difference between the two.
Like when you're talking about when people are just having fun and partying and all of that.
No.
That kind of declaration.
That's not what emotion is that? That's not an emotion.
From the first example,
I said, what's the emotion shown? The emotion shown.
Well, from the first one you brought up, happiness.
No,
like you're
no,
happy
not
that you're,
happiness.
You don't think people are happy when they talk like that? You didn't
That's
talk
not
with
the
happiness in
emotion
that?
being shown like that. No. Thomas, what emotion was being shown when I said that first example?
Ask that question one more time. Back up, please.
What emotion it was being shown in the way that I said it when it was a declaration rather than just a statement?
Like it's, how can I put it? I'm thinking evidence.
Is that an emotion, Thomas?
No, it's not. Hold on. I'm thinking. I'm still thinking. He's like, that emotion?
Evidence is an emotion? Charles, I'm really feeling evidence right now.
I didn't say evidence. Yes. But that's still the same thing.
The answer is pride, guys.
What did you say?
You're declaring something, you're showing your pride in it.
That's how drunk people sound when they're prideful?
When
That's
they're
a
proud
pride
to be
drunk?
drunk?
The way you said it earlier, it didn't sound like
Yeah,
a
it's like,
pride drunk.
I'm freaking wasted, bro.
You sound
The
way more
high
excited
energy.
than happy. It's coming off as happy and excited on my end. I don't know about Thomas's end. Yes, it's coming off as excited or happy.
If I was the energy is how you know I'm proud to be drunk. That energy is what's saying that. Bro, I just got this brand new girlfriend, bro. Happiness is not what I'm showing there. Pride is. because of the energy level. Is there happiness in that pride? Yes. The two go together. Can you be proud of something and not be happy about it, Charles?
Oh yeah, you could.
No, you what?
You
Charles,
couldn't be
when?
proud of something.
No, and not be happy at the same time. You're proud of it, but you're not happy at the same time.
Oh wait, no. My bad. Never mind. Take that
Come
back.
on,
Take that back.
man.
Take that back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, think about that for a minute. You're proud of it, but you're not happy with it. That don't even make sense. Can you be happy and not be proud, Charles?
What? Yeah, I can be happy.
Yeah, you could be happy and be at peace, right? You don't
Right.
necessarily have to be cocky. You don't necessarily have to be prideful. But if you are prideful, you're definitely always happy in whatever you're prideful in. But if you're happy, it doesn't necessarily mean you're prideful. If I'm energetically telling you about something with happiness in my voice and high energy, I am showing pride in that thing. I'm showing that I'm proud of it. Make sense?
Now it does.
And Thomas?
Yeah.
All right. Then I'll explain 9 because we've gone a little extra from doing explanations. The show of their countenance does witness against them. You can see it on their face, the sins and what they're doing. But also it says, and they declare their sin as Sodom. How was Sodom about their sins? Were they quiet about it, Charles?
No.
Exactly. They're out there like it's all good, like there's no problem with it at all. That's what that's saying. They hide it not. You see what I'm saying? It's right there for you guys. They're not hiding their sin. They're very openly and happily about it sinning with what the sins are doing. Then it goes to say, woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. How does that relate to 8 and 7? Charles? Oh no, Thomas. Let me give Thomas a chance.
One to their souls. Is in relation to them being proud of them sinning, right? So is it um is it stating on how to approach their the way they're being about them proudly sinning?
Thomas, come on, bro. You didn't even read the other verses to get an answer. I know
You
for
said
a fact you didn't. How does that ending part of 9 connect to 8 and 7 was the question.
woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves.
Now, what did we discuss what happened in 8 and 7?
What does
How
woe
did
mean
it,
again?
you said what?
What does woe mean again? Like, is it like hold up or like?
No. I mean, if you're talking to horses, yeah, but that's a whole different subject. But but woe means to be fearful for something, be
Okay,
worried, be or be warned.
Lord.
I'm warning you, in other words, or this
Okay.
is a warning for.
Okay. So woe. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Is it kind of like the making your bed and laying in it type situation?
Yeah, it does relate to that.
Okay. So, and ask me the previous question. The question.
How does the ending of 9 correlate to 8 and then 7?
Okay. Because of their sorry for taking so long, but because of their actions, they're gonna reap what they sow.
Charles? Give
Yeah,
it
I don't
one
have the
last
answer.
shot.
Yeah, I don't have the answer.
All right. They rewarded evil unto themselves. What did we read was happening in 8? The Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord to provoke the eyes of glory. They're literally discussing how the sins and the pridefulness of Jerusalem and Judah is the reason why it's fallen and ruined. And because it's fallen and ruined, they don't have the necessities they need. Hence, these people who would be able to help people refuse to because they don't even have their own necessities. And it all traces back to their decision and their behavior towards God, which traces back to the end of 9, that they're rewarding evil to themselves. So because of your behavior, you're getting evil. Because of that evil, you don't have what you need. Because you don't have what you need, you become an enemy to your neighbors rather than wanting to help them. Does that make sense, Charles and Thomas?
A lot more sense than what I was saying.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
correlation makes sense.
All right. Now then, does anybody have any comments or questions before we pray out the Bible study portion? Now would be the time to raise your hands. All right, then I'll go ahead and pray us out for the Bible study portion. Everybody bow your heads. Father, thank you for this day that you've given us to be able to read your word. Even though it was really chaotic and there was a lot of crazy things that happened, but we're grateful that we were able to be on and get the lessons that we got. And grateful to be able to answer the answers that were needed to gain a better understanding as well. And we just pray to keep doing this more and more. In your son's holy and precious name, Jesus Christ Yeshua. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Now then, as towards the Bible listening, tonight's Bible listening is Colossians chapter 3 to Hebrews chapter 1. Again, Colossians chapter 3 to Hebrews chapter 1. Let me know when y'all got it.
Got it.
I got it.
All right. Now, last night's listening was 2 Corinthians chapter 13 to Colossians chapter 2. And we'll go ahead and have Thomas go first, and then Charles, and then I'll go last.
All right. My first one's going to be 2 Corinthians 13:5. It reads, examine yourself whether ye be in the, hold on, it's always in the way. Whether ye be in the faith, prove your own self. Know ye not your own self, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates.
Reprobate.
Reprobates. So, okay, so pretty much, hold on. So we got Paul pretty much finishing now his second letter here to the Corinthians. And he's pretty much urging like the believers to examine themselves, self-examine themselves and their faith, and to just ensure that their lives reflect Christ, presence all across the board. No stone unturned type situation. I know that's not of the same context, but making sure you get at every area. You hear me?
Reread the verse out loud.
Examine yourselves. Whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own self, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. Reprobates.
So, question: how would bringing up "leave no stone unturned" not line up with the context?
You're right. Examine yourself.
I mean, that's perfectly in line from my perspective. Like, he's literally talking about examine yourself, like,
Definitely.
All right. All right, Charles, you got anything you want to add on that?
No.
All right. The only thing that I have to add on to that is that when you're examining yourself, it's good to keep in mind not just to examine the sins that you struggle with. Examine the successes as well. Because if you don't take that into account, if you only focus on the wrong you're doing, then you're justifying yourself by the law and not taking into account grace. So though, yes, you do need to you need to examine yourself and make sure you're actually doing right. However, you can't be so harsh that you get rid of grace. If Christ really lives in you, if he really does dwell in you, then he covers for your slip ups, even as you strive not to slip up. All right. Go ahead, Thomas, with the second. By the way, that was a good one. But go ahead, Thomas, with the second one.
There, y'all. You hear me?
Somewhat.
That's my only one today.
Oh, okay, now we heard you. All right, Charles.
Mine is I'm gonna start off with Galatians chapter 5. It's 16 to 24, but there's a couple I want to read. I'm gonna start at 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth after or against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary, the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye do. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now, I wish I took the time because I had listened to it and wrote it down and kept going. Now, I could have sworn when you bring up if you are led by the Spirit, which that's what we strive for, that's what we go for. When we're talking about not under the law, we're not under the Old Testament. We're not under the old stuff, that the Old Testament rules and stuff like that. But this is also a good section because right after verse 18, it talks about the works of the flesh. And it talks about all these different sins, all these different wickedness things that you're getting into. But after, from like, I would say like 19 to 21, But then verse 22 down gets into the things of the spirit. Examples of that being love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. Faith should have been first, but faith, meekness, temperance. Um,
Trying to tell God how to do his work.
but yeah, this is just a good section, not just to keep in mind, but this is also a good section just in case anybody wants to bring up oh man, well, if I follow God, I can still, light incense and how the way it makes me feel. Well, not according to this list here. Oh, I can still go with horoscopes, not according to the list between 19 to 21. Oh, well, I can still do this, I can still do that. What about this list here? And I'm talking about the people that are well, quote unquote following, the ones that are in the churches and still doing this and still doing that, but you're reading off the King James Version. If you're reading off the King James Version, what about Galatians chapter 5, verses 16 down?
Exactly.
But yeah, you guys go ahead. What you guys got to say on that one?
All right, Thomas.
Nothing on that one.
All right. The only thing that I'll actually what was that section one more time, Charles?
Galatians chapter 5, verses 16 to 24.
That's right. That's right. 16 to 24. I had one in Galatians 5 as well, but it wasn't that one. Okay. So, yeah, as we talked about, being led by the Spirit and not fulfilling the lust of the flesh. That does not mean you will never slip up. What it does mean is that you're not going to be giving into it. You're not going to be living in it. And this matters for what I'm going to bring up if you don't bring it up, Charles, in chapter 6. But keep that in mind, because if you're fulfilling the lust of the flesh, that means that's what you're working towards. That's what you're living towards. It doesn't mean slipping up one time. All right. And the one part that I'll bring up as to pointing that out, make sure we're not in today's, is in First John. In First John chapter 1. In verses 6 to 10. If we say we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Christ, his Son, cleanses us from all sin. If we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say we have not sinned, we make him a liar, and his word is not in us. So I have to bring that up because in correlation to what Charles brought up, fulfilling the lust of the flesh. So on one side, if you're walking in the spirit, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. But on the other side, if you say you have no sin, which is currently speaking, present tense, then we're deceiving ourselves and the truth is not in us. So how do you square that circle? Because the terminology of fulfilling the lust of the flesh does not mean committing a single sin. It means living in the sin, living in the lust. All right, go ahead, Charles, with the next one.
All right, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I found it while you were talking. Galatians chapter 3, verses 26 to 29. For ye are all the children of God by faith in the Christ Jesus. For as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ. There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Jesus Christ. And if ye be Christ, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Now, I'm glad I got this down because I was listening to it and I didn't get a chance to write this down. This makes me think of all the people who are the people that you and Thomas talk about these guys? Hebrew Israelites. This makes me think of them. When a
Yeah, the
certain
Black
group of
Hebrew
people are
Israelites.
the black Hebrew Israelites, the ones that say only a certain group of people can be saved. The remnant. There's a group of people which they are black Hebrew Israelites. They just don't say it. They call themselves the remnant. You might end up seeing it after we have this conversation. It might pop up on your phones. They do the same thing.
Like the
Under the
movie with
baptism,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
no, worse. 10 times worse. 10 times worse. Because I thought I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh man, you guys are doing the same thing the black Hebrew Israelites are doing. When you're baptized in the faith, when we're all baptized the way we're supposed to be baptized in the faith, we're all under that faith. We're all considered by the baptism as like a part of Jesus. Jesus' lineage, Jesus' children through the baptism, through the faith itself. Doesn't matter if Matt came from an actual Jewish background. It didn't matter that Thomas's background. Doesn't matter my background. Because of what we came together to, what we believe in, what we put our faith in, what we put our whole life into, which is in Jesus, following his will and his way. We are all one in that. We're not separate. We're not, oh, okay, well, because you're part of the church with the white man, you're a separate congregation under. No, we're all one. We are all one in this. But yeah, go ahead if you guys got anything to say about that.
All right, Thomas, you got anything you want to add on that?
That's definitely in the arsenal for sure.
All right. Yeah, you can't accept Christ through a prayer. There's nowhere in the Bible that says that you do. But the Bible does say you accept Christ through baptism. We're going to ignore that. No, we're not going to. We're just going to pretend that today. There's no verse in the Bible that says you accept Christ through a prayer. But it word for word, like it's word for word, says you get Christ through baptism. Baptism is just an expression of faith. What? That's all I have to say on that.
What's funny is I was just about to bring that up in my last one, Ephesians chapter 4, 4-7. One God, one faith, one baptism. It said it in the verse, one baptism. So, and I was gonna get to your point, but you already made it. Oh, that is funny. What you got to say about Ephesians chapter 4 verses 4-7, Thomas?
I jotted down the last two verses you said, man.
You know what?
I jotted down the last two verses Charles said. Add them to the arsenal.
Uh-oh, Thomas is going to war.
Exactly. It's a fight. It's a fight.
Spiritual battle. That's all I got though. Just those three. The fourth one, I can't find it.
All right. So on the third one, being one faith, one body, one baptism. It is important that we understand what it means. Is there literally only one baptism, Charles?
Technically, you had the John's baptism of repentance, and then you had the baptism of Jesus Christ.
And that's not the only one. You have the baptism of fire, baptism of the Holy Spirit, where you get miracles and abilities without the laying on of hands. That's also listed as a separate thing. So then how could it say one faith, one baptism? Because there is only one baptism that saves.
One to salvation.
Exactly. One baptism for it to be part of the faith. That's why. So that's it on that. All right. Now, on to mine. Mine. First one. 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 2-11. Go back to it. That was the part that Thomas brought up. But for me, it was a little bit more because of what it said in verse where is it? Verse 7. Was that part of your number, Thomas? Was verse 7 part of it?
At that point,
Yeah.
my phone just jumped on the box.
Oh, then I forgot that about the living for him and not just living in sin. I should have added that. Never mind then. Galatians chapter 2, verse 14-21. I'll go to that one. All right. We who are Jews by nature and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by faith in of Jesus of Christ. Even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we might be justified by faith. Now, the part in here in verse 19, for I, through the law, am dead to the law, that I might live unto God. I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not frustrate the grace of God. For if righteousness come by the law, then Christ is dead in vain. If we could be sinless following the law, then Jesus died for nothing. Yes, in here we talk about we're striving to follow what God has called for us, but it's about that balance. Yes, we're giving our best effort to follow what Christ has said, but also understanding we have grace for the slip ups. So it's not about being perfect, it's about the effort that you're trying to do. All right. Now, Thomas, you got anything you want to add on that?
Nope.
Charles, you got anything you want to add on that?
No.
All right. Now I'm gonna go to 6, but I want to bring back up what Charles because I had 6, 1 through 5. But I want to bring up the portion that Charles brought up in chapter 5 about the walking in the spirit, not fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Keep that in mind as I for chapter 6. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Now, why did I have to bring up 5? Because in this verse in chapter 6, when I was part of the Church of Christ, there was a guy I was real cool with named Terrence. He believes, or at least at that time, that the moment you commit a sin, you are separated from God. Every time. So the question would come up about what if you've been living for God your entire life, and right before you died, out of anger, frustration, you sinned and you cussed out somebody, and then you got shot and died before you could ask for forgiveness? Do you go to heaven or do you go to the lake of fire in Judgment Day? His response was, you go to lake of fire. And the one of the verses he brought up was verse 1 of chapter 6. If a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual restore. You don't have to restore if somebody isn't over, if they are still right with God. So then when they sin, that must make them not right with God, period. And I was like, well, I'd have to look at it more, but I could get where you might be thinking that I'd have to do it more, but I never took the time at the time. When I got back into and took the time on that verse, I was like, overtaken. Are you overtaken if one slip up comes in? No. Think about it militarily. Charles, is your base overtaken if only one insurgent has made it through?
No, that's just a crack in our defense.
Exactly. Thomas, at what point would your military base be actually considered overtaken?
You got men in the base that are not of your people.
Just one or two?
No, like a plethora of them.
So there's a whole bunch of people, right?
Yeah,
And if there's a whole bunch of people, do you have control over what's happening in that base?
definitely not.
Ah. So if we were to simplify, for a base to be overtaken, you have to have lost control to it. You're no longer in charge. So if your brother or if a man is overtaken in a fault, if they're overtaken in it, do they just slip up every once in a while, Charles?
If you're overtaken, no, that's just back to the cracks. That's just cracks.
Exactly. So Thomas, at what point would somebody be considered then overtaken in a fault?
That slip up led to just straight diving in it.
Yeah. You wouldn't be overtaken in a fault unless you're living in the fault. You're continuing, you're living in it. That's when you're overtaken. So when he brought this verse up, he focused so much on the restoration part, and I didn't have an answer for that at the time because I hadn't had the time to get the context on it. And then I finally thought about that. Overtaken in the fault. No matter what the subject is, if it's a person, place, a thing, whatever, for something to be overtaken, you have to have lost control entirely, not just slipped up. You have no semblance of control. Even as like at a school, if you got one or two bad kids in your class is not overtaken. But if none of the kids are listening to you, your class is overtaken. You're not the one in control. So when we look at that at overtaken, this is not talking about somebody who has committed a sin. You don't need to be restored to God every single time you slip up. You're not out of God every time you slip up. But if you're living in it, you would need the restoration. And think about it this way too. When it brings up about lest thou also be tempted. Charles, if somebody is struggling with lust or lying and they lie to you one time, are you going to be tempted because of that lie to react to them? Is that realistic?
No, that's not realistic. If you just brought up one time.
But if you're lying to my face every single time, am I going to be tempted by the lying the next time it happens, Charles?
Now you are.
Exactly. You wouldn't have to be wary of being tempted if it was something that they're not living in. And then think about that with every sin. Somebody's smoking. Are you going to be tempted in any kind of way if you just see somebody, they smoked a cigarette one time? No. You're going to be tempted if they're smoking all the time around you. That's when you're going to be tempted. Same thing with drinking. Thomas, do you get tempted if you see somebody with a beer for the first you don't normally see them, but you've seen them with a beer every once in a while? You're going to be tempted to drink?
Nah.
Exactly. But what if they're always drinking around you? You're going to be tempted then? So,
Say, yeah, it'd be all bad.
yeah. So that's the whole point of it, is that this was taken out of context to fit the need. It's not saying if you slip up one time. It's saying if they are living in the sin, then the ones who are spiritual, the ones who are right with God and with meekness and considering yourself so you don't get tempted, to go to them and try to get them right with God. That's what this is saying, not what he brought it up as. All right. Now, Thomas, do you have anything you want to add or say on that?
No, sorry.
All right. Charles?
This was interesting. I forgot all about the dude you brought up.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Last one, Philippians chapter 4, verse 8 and 9. I've heard this one at a lot of different churches. But this is Philippians 4. Let me put it this way. Thomas, remember what I was telling you about Romans 6 and Romans 8?
Yeah.
Well, Philippians 4 is a great read for for practicality, how to institute God in your daily life in actionable ways. The entirety of Philippians 4 is literally showing that. So if you ever want to be able to tell somebody how to work God into the way they live, Philippians 4 is perfect for that. All throughout it, every other part. But back to this main focus. Verse 8 and 9. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Those things which ye have both learned and received, and heard and seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you. Notice what he said there. Every single thing that he pointed out are positive things. People forget this a lot. How we live our life is the same way we drive. Where you set your sights to is where you end up 99% of the time. If you focus on all the problems rather than on how to solve them, they will not get solved, and you will feel drained and you will have nothing but problems from them most of the time. 99% of the time. But if you focus on the solutions, you focus on the positive things, it's not just that you'll have solutions for your problem, you can work through things, but your whole mentality will be better. Your entire life and livelihood would be better. And Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't stress make it easier to get sick?
There we go. Yes. if you're super stressed out, yeah, you can get sick real easily that way.
So it even impacts your medical health. So your mental, your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional are all impacted by what you focus on. If you're always focusing on the sin you're doing, that's all you see, that's where you're going to go. If you focus on the solution, you focus on other things, godly things, that's where your mentality and everything will gear towards. So that's why Philippians 4, 8, and 9 stand out to me. Now, Thomas, do you have anything you want to add or say on that?
No.
All right, Charles, you got anything you want to add or say?
No.
All right. Now, do you guys have anything you want to add or say at all before we close it out? Now would be the time to raise your hands. All right. Then I'll go ahead and close this out. Have a good night, y'all.